Hello YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the House of Fata Morgana. And possibly the final episode, because we have now reached the climax of the main story of this visual novel. So Michel found out that before he started kind of going back through his history, before he started telling his story of when he was with his family, when he ascended the tower of the mansion, he found who he thought was Giselle, and she had just discovered that his body was not fully male, that he was transgender, and she said that Michel was disgusting, and in this last episode he found out that Giselle was actually fake and not the real Giselle. The real Giselle is still in love with him, and he is now at the top of the tower, and his goal is to rid the mansion of darkness for good. Now I don't know if that means he's going to dispel Morgana, or how exactly that's going to play out, but he is now opening the door to the room at the top of the observation tower. That's where we left off. So this should be the finale right here. Are you ready? Here we go. Through the single window sitting high atop the wall shines a ray of light. A black butterfly flutters within the beam. Its form is indistinct, wavering like a mirage as it slowly descends to the tower floor. And then, from within the darkness, a person appears. Is that you, Morgana? How does it feel to finally meet the real thing, my dear? I knew you were young, but you really are still a child. Having heard her tale, I know she died still a girl, and I know how she came to bear so much hatred for the world. But knowing and seeing are two very different things. The sight of her bony, adolescent body is a painful reminder that she never had a chance to know happiness, to know adulthood, before being robbed of her life. I had assumed monster would be your first reaction. With a face and a body like this. How very sweet of you, Michel. So tell me, what exactly do you mean to do now that you're here? Your ultimate goal was, as I understood it, to take Giselle back. But she's no longer here for me to return to you. She broke out of my cage and exhausted what remained of her soul to show herself to you. I cannot perceive even a trace of her presence any longer, so I presume her soul shattered, dissipated into nothing. No, she's right here beside me. Is that so? You seem to believe as much anyway, which only makes your presence here a bigger mystery. Ah, I know. You want revenge. I made you miserable while you were alive, and I continue to torment you in death. You entrusted me with Giselle's life, and I used her for my own ends. You must despise me. Hatred fills you. You want to curse me, to kill me. My death could well mean the end of all this. Shall I grant you that wish? She flicks a finger, and the next second, a longsword clatters to the floor at my feet. Take the blade in your hands, and like the knight of old who executed the witch, pierce my heart with it. Do now what should have happened then. You always wanted to be a knight, didn't you? Go on, pick it up. Show me your revulsion, my dear. Morgana, I do have a reason for being here. I came to save you. Did you hit your head on the way up? You came to save who? I spent so long trying to look away, when I should have been trying to look deeper. To tell you the truth, your constant chattering in the darkness evoked more than annoyance in me. I empathized with your loneliness. I bear no hatred for you. It was my despair that brought you back to life. So that makes it my responsibility to end this. My own wish has given me all the redemption I need, my dear. Or should I be expecting another self-righteous lecture about how hatred does you no good? Brilliant, Michel. Brilliant. Do you have any idea how absurdly presumptuous you're being? Trying to force your idea of redemption onto someone who has no interest in it? If the tale you showed me was the whole truth, then I would have said you could revile those heartless men as much as you pleased. But I refuse to believe that's the whole story. Oh my god, is there more to Morgana's story? The men I saw beyond the first 3 doors had genuine concerns and worries. They felt things, real human emotions, even if those things ultimately led them down a path of destruction. Wanting to do something nice for the one you care about, being disgusted at things you've done, hiding your urges from those around you. You certainly couldn't call them good men, but they were real people with real conflicts.
So you're saying I'm lying? Well, I can't say I blame you. Who would believe the word of a witch?
I don't think you falsified your account, Morgana. The tragedy, no, the grisly reality you described, I don't doubt any of that happened. You wouldn't be here otherwise. But I've learned something in my years. Reality exists from more than one perspective.
That doesn't change what happened. That two-faced young man deceived me. The beast severed my arm, and the greedy, power-hungry lord used me for his own personal gain.
Events by themselves do not tell the whole story. Only when you take into account their circumstances, what they thought and felt, their perspectives, only then can you say you've reached the truth.
Your point being? Are you going to march down to where their souls are and ask them for their perspective? Don't waste your breath. They'll only tell you what benefits themselves the most.
Then we do it our way. We open the door to your past.
And if I refuse? This is my domain, my world. It operates in accordance to my will. The door won't open unless I allow it to.
Were you aware, Morgana, that I recovered my first memory in front of a mirror?
You what?
The same mirror Giselle used to practice her smile. And in all those hundreds of years, bits of her memory came to reside within. Every time she stood before that mirror, she had me in her heart. And next, I saw one of my own memories play out in my bedchamber. It was the first day after we opened the windows, when she let the morning sun into my room. That day was a turning point in my life.
And why are you telling me this?
Because it means this world doesn't belong only to you. It's also hers and mine. And that is why she was able to break free. Your wish is, without question, the most powerful of anyone's here, and you have more authority over this place than anyone else. There is no denying your position as master of this mansion. But Giselle and I, we too have influence over this domain. I was the one who resurrected you, and she who served as your guide. So the door will appear, whether or not it is your will. Their souls reside here as well. They may spin convenient tales, but the memories ingrained upon their souls can tell no lies. All the pieces are on the board. The door will open. Say the door does open. What does that change? Nothing those men may have thought or felt can take back what they did to me. This rotting, broken creature they turned me into. I don't care what was going through their heads. They will never have my forgiveness. My hatred is unwavering. My wish will not be undone so easily. Their souls shall suffer for all eternity. Before we begin, Morgana, let's get one last lingering question out of the way. And what might that be? Who the white-haired girl is? That's your lingering question? We've already established. That was you, Morgana. Ha! Ha ha! Ah ha ha! Ah ha 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 ha! So in a desperate plea to deny you came back as a woman, you're now trying to make me into her? That is perhaps the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. That was you, my dear. Don't avert your eyes. You must face reality. I'm not averting my eyes, and I'm not in denial. I have faith. Faith that I only ever made it back to this mansion once. When I awoke in the rocking chair beside the fireplace. Ha! Nevertheless, that hardly justifies accusing me of being that foolish girl. How could you possibly think I was her? Never have I not been present in these walls. Not even while she was alive and in the claws of tragedy. My hair is not white, nor are my eyes red. And look at this horrid, festering face. How could I ever become her? How your soul appears is irrelevant in this case, Morgana. I will uncover the truth about you. Things even you don't know. And if I can show that you were, in fact, the white-haired girl, in that moment will your reality be rewritten. If you're so confident, then be my guest. Find out for yourself just how little you're capable of. Blackness fills the observation tower once more.
Morgana fades into the distance, leaving me alone in the dark stream. It's a darkness I've seen, felt, and been consumed by numerous times since arriving in the mansion. But this time, I welcome it, praying that beyond it lies a truth with the power to release all from the house's grip. This next tale has no narrator. I won't sit back and listen as someone recounts the path of fate for me. No, I have to find the path for myself this time. I don't know what awaits me beyond the black, but no matter what it may be, so long as I have the power to provide redemption, I must never put down my sword. Now, let us open the door. The final door. Okay, well, I guess we're not getting the climax tonight then. I brought you some food. You have to eat something. You barely touched your food yesterday. Come on, please. Just leave it there. Her hands aren't bound. She can eat whenever she pleases. But she's not going to last much longer. The boy has a point. If she won't eat, we lose our supply of blood. That's not what I meant. Leave it there. Well, we'll be back. Is that her right there? Is that Morgana? Do you really have to go? Yeah, things are pretty hectic right now. And when do you suppose you'll be back? Tomorrow, same time as today. And you'll have enough time to talk then? Will you? Yeah. Are you hiding something from me? You're acting kind of funny. You're my sister. I wouldn't keep anything from you. You're not yourself, though. What's so different about me? Well, you're not acting much like a prince. Wait. I think this might be Nellie, actually. So that means this other guy's Mel. Ah, right, of course. Don't worry, I'm still your prince, same as always. Good night, Nellie. My princess? Yep, that was Nellie. Wait, so this, who is this here? How did I end up in this mess? I never wanted this. All I wanted was a quiet life. Someone get me out of here. Take this thing somewhere far away. Tell me it's not all my fault. Oh God, I'm begging you, just make it all go away. Someone, anyone, get me out of here. Look, look, the stars, they're beautiful. Though with it so bright out, I worry someone might see us. Everyone's long gone. I hope so. Are you ashamed? A little, but I still want to be with you. Have you ever considered leaving the convent? You can't just stop being a nun, you know? It's not that simple. I've made vows, sworn my life to the service of God. I was not aware. I don't know much about this land's traditions. If I were to leave the church, it would have to be in my next life. I'd like to be a normal girl, lead a normal life. Get married, have kids, and before I know it, I'm an old lady. Thinking, it was an uneventful life, but it was the best I could have asked for. That's my dream. That sounds very peaceful. I hope we can be together in our next lives too. Have a nice, quiet life together. It'll be a city on the water, looking out over a beautiful, glimmering emerald sea. The blue sky spreading as far as the eye can see. The sound of the seabirds squalling by the port. The two of us sitting shoulder to shoulder, just looking out over the city. Doesn't that sound wonderful? It certainly does. I would love that. The Harvest Festival. On the day of the festival, wake up. Please wake up. Come on. Open your eyes. Michel. Erg. So bright. I'm outside? The light feels like needles in my eyes. The first thing I see beyond the mansion's darkness is blinding light. The sun glares mercilessly overhead. A gentle breeze blows past, and I can hear birds chirping from several different directions. Each breath I take fills my lungs with the scent of earth and grass. So much time has passed since I've been in the light. I almost feel like I'm alive again. No, not almost. What's going on? What on earth? Is this the era Morgana lived? Michel! Huh?
Oh, thank goodness. You can hear me. Good morning, Master. I hope you slept well.
Giselle? Is that voice really you?
I swear it's me. 100%. Not that mean old phony. So don't you worry.
No, I believe it's you. I just was not expecting to be able to hear you here.
I did say I would always be by your side.
I'm relieved. But where are you, Giselle? I can't see you anywhere.
Well, I'm not exactly sure myself.
You don't know?
I don't know how to describe it. It's pitch dark all around me, like a black smoke churning in the darkness. It feels a lot like inside the mansion, but I don't think I'm actually in the mansion.
So you're still trapped in the void then?
I can see a shimmering light off in the distance through the fog, and I can hear sounds coming from that direction. It's like the outside world is leaking through the light. I can see the trees rustling, hear birds singing. I can't see you though, so I assumed I was seeing through your eyes. And I thought I'd try getting your attention.
So that means you can see everything I can?
Seems so, though I don't think I can see quite as clearly as you.
I wish you could be here to feel this too. Experience it in my place even. It's a bizarre sensation. While I could see and feel the worlds through the doors, it was strictly in the capacity of an observer. We were merely watching, not actually present in the tales. But this time, it's like I've been resurrected and dropped into the world as a participant. It's all so vivid. Everything the mansion lacked, it's all here, and I can feel it so clearly. I wish you could have been the one to experience this.
It's okay, Michel. I know you'll dispel this darkness I'm in. Won't you? I will.
I'm more than happy just being able to hear your voice and being able to see what you see is like a miracle.
I too am glad to know you're there, to have the chance to hear your voice again. Thank you so much for saving me. If you hadn't shown up, I wouldn't be here.
Oh no, I should be thanking you. I was overjoyed to learn how much you really cared about me. There are so many things I want to say right now. So many things I want you to know. So many thank yous. And so many I love yous.
Mm-hmm.
Hey now, is that really the best response you've got? Surely you can do better than that.
You're embarrassing me.
I am somewhat disappointed by one thing, though. I can't get any hugs or kisses, since I'm not there in person. Oh, come on! You're not very good at this, are you?
And you're not very good at picking up on how much you're embarrassing me.
I'd expect, at the very least, a me too.
We should start by figuring out when and where exactly this is.
You're not even trying, are you?
I'm doing the best I can. Please, don't ask any more than this of me.
It's okay, though. I might not be able to see you, but we're together either way. You know, Michel, I think I might be able to help too. While I can't be there in person, I can give you ideas, another point of view when you're not sure about something. With the two of us together, we'll find a way through this.
Yes, we will.
Where to begin? What do you say we get our bearings? List out exactly what we need to take care of.
That's not a bad idea. I'm a bit frazzled at the moment, to tell you the truth.
What? Why?
I had assumed we would just be observers, like with the other doors, searching their memories for clues. I never expected I'd actually be thrown into their era.
True, it's not at all like the other doors.
No matter how the rules may change, I'm seeing this through to the end. If our guess is correct, and we have arrived at Morgana's past, then we need to uncover the truth behind those events. Or rather, the three men's circumstances. What they felt, what drove them. My gut tells me there's something to be found there that even Morgana doesn't know. I could be wrong, and it's possible that even if I am right, what we find won't do anything to quell her hatred. But we won't be talking her out of it, that's for sure. Words won't break through that kind of animosity. We need something bigger. Something she could never have imagined. Something that will turn her entire worldview on its head.
white-haired girl might be a good place to start. She showed up at the mansion again and again, as though led there by some supernatural force. And she was involved with all three men in some way. I can't think of anyone else with such deep ties to both the mansion and the men. But at the same time, I have a hard time convincing myself that the Morgana we know and the white-haired girl could be the same person. They are about as different as two people can be. Which actually leads me to believe there's something there. There must be something. Some secret we haven't figured out yet that we can use. So let's find it. It won't be easy. If we are in the past, though, I wonder, maybe we could change it? This could be a huge chance for us. Change the past? Yeah, we could prevent Morgana's death, or we could stop whatever led them down this path. There's an idea. If it's actually possible, maybe we can do something. The question is this world really... Now I'm getting kinda pumped. I've got my game face on and I'm ready to do this. Doesn't do much good if no one can see it. It's a figure of speech. Okay, first things first, we need to find the mansion. Morgana should be at the top of the observation tower, and the three men shouldn't be too far off either. So the question is, where are we? Do you recognize the surroundings at all? I never really left the mansion, so I'm not especially familiar with the lay of the land. Give me a little spin, would you? As she requests, I slowly spin around in a circle, and through the dense woods, I spot a cluster of what appears to be stone formations. Squinting to get a better look, I realize they're buildings. It's decently far off, but it appears to be the edge of a city. I think that might be the village I stayed at for a while. It's a bit big for a village. Don't you remember what Amadei said about the village's history? Amadei, that bastard. Michel, you didn't think something uncharacteristically vulgar just now, did you? Wouldn't dream of it. Yes, I remember. He said it was once much larger, and that it was destroyed in a single week by the witch's curse. Except rather than a curse, it was probably disease. If that's the same city, then it fits with what Morgana said happened. I believe he also said something about there being a large bridge on the outskirts of the city, and that following the path from there would lead to the mansion. So let's head down to the city. All right. You don't sound very enthusiastic. Are you nervous you might have to talk to someone? Don't worry, you've got me here. Don't treat me like I'm antisocial. You're not? No, that's not what's bothering me. It's something about this whole thing feels off. This world we're in. Never mind. I'm probably overthinking things. But now's not the time for that. We need to get moving. Let's go. Rather than waste time fretting over details, we need to get to the mansion like she said. Everything else comes after that. With each step, I can feel the earth compressing beneath my feet, the grass flattening. As I weave my way through the trees towards the city, the sensation of having a living flesh and blood body slowly returns. Uh, 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 ah. It's Gargura. A white-haired man just appeared out of nowhere. And he's talking to himself. I gotta get away before he does something. Hold it right there, Mel. You don't get to call me crazy and then just run off. How do you know my name? How? Why wouldn't I? We were just in the mansion together. Huh? Mansion? What are you talking about? Right. He hasn't become the shadow in the mansion yet. I doubt I would forget seeing someone as unusual as you. Who are you? And where did you come from? Where? I'd like to know that myself. Say something, Michel. He's not getting any less suspicious of you. You have to come up with some way to break the tension. Improvisation isn't exactly my strong suit. I was sleeping in a tree. I am God. Well, I think I was sleeping in a tree is a little more reasonable than I am God, so let's go with that. It sure looked like you just popped out of nowhere. You imagined it. It was so sudden, your mind misinterpreted what you saw. Is that too much of a stretch? Yeah, you're right. I must have been seeing things. People can't just appear out of thin air. On nice days like this, I'll sometimes climb a tree and take a nap too. And then roll over and fall flat on my face. So I can relate. Michel napping in a tree. I can't even imagine it. Me neither. Also, it would seem that, like Morgana's, I'm the only one who can hear Giselle's voice. But that doesn't explain how you know my name. You know,
You look a lot like an acquaintance of mine. Imagine my surprise when it turns out you have the same name too. That's definitely pushing it. Oh, yeah, that happens to me every now and then too. Geez, you had me spooked for a second there. While on one hand I'm glad he bought it, I feel perhaps he's a little too trusting. He's the kind of guy who just keeps on walking when he runs across something out of the ordinary, pretending he didn't see a thing. Not the most admirable of traits, but we're in the clear. I assume you're from the city then, if you're out here? Actually, no. I'm, a wanderer of sorts. Oh? Huh. Ah, did you come by to see the Harvest Festival then? Harvest Festival? You don't know about it then? 3 days from now, we're holding a festival at the church to celebrate the spring harvest. 3 days. Morgana died when the bell tolled noon on the day of the festival, which means she's got that much time left. This will be the first time we've held the festival, so we're hoping to make it into a big event, something really memorable. And a young girl is dying behind the scenes of this seemingly pleasant celebration. If her death is for 3 days from now, that might give us enough time to do something about it. Could I ask you to show me the way to the church? I would like to join in on the festivities. Sure, yeah. Of course. The church's doors are open to all, friends and family and wanderers alike. It's not far. Follow me. Thank you. It didn't occur to me until now, but this really is a strange experience. This is a boy from a completely different time period, who I would have never had the opportunity to meet. If he's here, then presumably the other two are here as well, which means Morgana's wish for their reconstruction was actually granted. This Mel doesn't seem like any different a person than the one I observed through the first door. Yet he played a part in Morgana's imprisonment. I have trouble believing he would voluntarily involve himself, though. I was scared for a minute there. That could have gone a lot worse. Plus, we managed to make contact with Mel in record time. She's interacted with him and the others before, so I guess this doesn't feel as strange to her. Ah, you don't want him to hear you talking to yourself again. That's why you're not saying anything to me, isn't it? Actually, I think I can talk to you without speaking. Can you hear me? How are you doing that? I have a lot of experience talking to ghosts. That really drives home how bizarre things were for you in that mansion. Were you not in similar circumstances when it was you and Morgana together? Yeah, now that you mention it, what a bizarre time we both had in that mansion. You're just now realizing this?
So, what's your impression of him?
My impression? That he's the same Mel as always?
In a little more detail?
He's an amicable young man. Nice enough to show a complete stranger around.
I agree. In Morgana's version of the story, he betrayed her. But he doesn't seem like the kind of person who would enthusiastically do something so malicious.
He had to have had some reason.
And we need to figure out what that was. The question is, how do we go about it? We hardly have enough time to earn his trust and convince him to tell us himself. I'll just have to put the knowledge I already have to good use.
Oh, that reminds me.
Something that might explain it?
No, about Morgana. When you were alive, she was always right there with you, like I am now, right?
Whenever it struck her fancy, yes. She didn't seem to care when or where. She would just start talking whenever she felt like it.
Whenever?
For the most part, yes. Anytime she wanted. Giselle?
You don't have to worry about that with me. I know when to keep my mouth shut, promise.
What?
You said you feel like you're alive again, right?
My five senses all seem to be in working order.
Which means you'll also be getting hungry, tired, sleepy, and you'll, you know, you'll have to go to the bathroom. I'll be polite and close my eyes and plug my ears while you're doing it.
Thanks? What would possess her to bring that up?
Does she even realize what she's saying? Oh gosh, now I'm red as a tomato.
That answers that. Moving right along, we need to discuss how we're going to go about this.
Right, that.
The Harvest Festival is our deadline, which doesn't give us very much time. We need a plan for when we arrive at the mansion.
How about we spill their secret? Tell everyone about the girl they've locked up in the tower and force them to set her free. Surely they wouldn't stand for that.
Perhaps, but would anyone believe me?
Ah.
Alright, hold on, I'll be back in a second.
I walked in and said I came from the future and that I know what's going to happen, would anyone actually buy that? Sure, with enough convincing. Even if I did manage to convince them, the tower door was locked in Morgana's rendition of the tale. Shit. You need 3 keys to get inside. Mel should have one of them, but stealing his alone won't be enough to get into the tower. True. If Giselle is right and we can save Morgana and change the future, then that would indeed solve everything. But something about this whole situation still doesn't sit right with me. I have to do more than just set her free of that tower. I have to find the truth as well, as I initially set out to do. Regardless, I would like to try and stay on everyone's good side as much as possible for now. Okay, I'll do whatever I can to help. I appreciate it. I mean, as you know, conversation is not exactly my strong suit. Which means it's my job to hit the brakes whenever you say something stupid. It's a bit too late if I've already said it. Anyway, step 1 is to get ourselves into the mansion. We can't hope to make contact with the other 2 men, much less get Morgana out of there if we're not staying nearby. I'll do what I can. Hmm. We're almost there. See the big building in the distance? That's the church. It is the same mansion as I suspected. Seeing it now, knowing what horrible things happened there, is so disheartening. Are happening as we speak. In the tower we see in the distance, Morgana's locked up, all alone. I wish we could just march in there and set her free. If getting into the tower were our only goal,
We could probably force our way in with a little work. Is something the matter? Mel, I could probably overpower him and get his key. Hello? But the other two, that almost certainly wouldn't work for. Can you hear me? Oh, yes, sorry. I was lost in thought. Seems kinda strange, doesn't it? What does? I mean, it doesn't look much like a church. At a glance, you'd think it was some noble's estate. So it does. I've spent so long there it never even occurred to me. I was pretty surprised when I first saw it myself. A peculiar place, all told. There's a chapel inside the mansion with this gorgeous stained glass window. It's quite the sight. Do you know why it was built like that? I'm, not actually sure myself, no. Anyway, I'll show you to the chapel. The Saintess should be there too, so I can introduce you. The Saintess? You've never heard of her? Everyone around here knows her. She's a nun at the church, and everyone calls her the Saintess. She's practically her own religious figure. Oh, he's not talking about Morgana. You'll just have to see for yourself. Come on. All right. On our way to the mansion, we passed through a courtyard of sorts. When I lived here, the area was overgrown with weeds. Apparently, they keep it in better condition in this era. Following Mel's lead, we head through the chapel entrance. Oh my! I'm at a loss for words when I see what lies on the other side of those all too familiar doors. While it was barely recognizable as a place of worship in my memory, just 2 columns of battered pews and some piles of rubble. Oh. The room I'm looking at now is unequivocally a chapel. So this is what it used to look like. I wonder how far back this is from when we lived. It has to be more than a decade or two. Maybe 100 years? Or more. The views and beliefs about the world prevalent in our time are not so different than those of this time. Perhaps the chapel was destroyed in the aftermath of the Harvest Festival. When I was first sent to the mansion, there were signs that repairs had been attempted. The stained glass window is behind the pulpit. I'm guessing, though we can't see it from here. And right next to it is the door to the observation tower. Ah, there she is. There's no priest here. She runs the church. You'll want to talk to her first if you're planning to participate in the Harvest Festival. I'll go fetch her for you. Whisking his way between the pews, the boy disappears into the back of the chapel, returning with a nun in tow. When I see her, My face twists for a brief moment.
Good afternoon. You came to see the festival, I hear.
Okay, do you think this nun is Pauline? Remember Pauline from the second story? I wonder if that's her.
It's wonderful to have you. Is that who I think it is?
I'm all but certain at this point that all the major players from behind the three doors are present here. Not just the three men whose shadows remain in the mansion, but also the women who were important parts of their lives. Though dressed differently, the way she speaks and the way she holds herself resembles the woman killed by her lover behind the second door. Yep.
They're all connected. What we thought were three separate tales all stretch back to a single point in time before our own. Is there something the matter?
No, I was just thinking how unusual it is for one nun to be managing an entire church all by herself.
Ah, yes, that's the usual reaction from new visitors. Even I think this assignment is a bit over my head.
Assignment?
Ah, well, I was at another church before this one. A smaller building, and I wasn't the only nun. But the Lord of the land ordered me to transfer to a new, larger church he was opening. So here I am.
The Lord?
There's plenty of space on the property, more than enough to provide shelter for orphan children and aid for the sick.
It seems rather vacant from what I've seen.
Yes, about that. We used to take people in, but circumstances have made that difficult of late.
What kind of circumstances?
It's not something I can discuss with an outsider, sorry. Oh, yeah. I'm guessing it has to do with Morgana's imprisonment here. Do you think she knows about Morgana? I would guess not. The men swore to keep it between the three of them. So she's being forced to oversee the mansion, completely oblivious of what's happening here? Which isn't to say she's not connected to it in some way. If she's the girl from the second tale, then she should be close with... Is something troubling you? No, my apologies. I got lost in thought. You don't look it, but you're actually a bit of a daydreamer, aren't you? Daydreamer? Mel would fit that description much better. Mel would fit that description much better. What? Why? Do I really look like that much of an airhead? Oh, I can see that. Someone has to watch out for him, or he's likely to lose his head in the clouds. I really don't think I'm that spacey. I'm not trying to say you're spacey. I just feel like I've got to keep one eye on you at all times. It's a lot like what I imagine having a little brother would be like. I am an oldest child, you know. What's the big deal? You don't want a big sister? Well, I want you to be my little brother. I don't want to be just a capital S sister to you. That's so stiff and formal. No, I want to be your sister. I'm a little old to be playing make-believe. Oh, come on. They're quite friendly with one another, it would seem. Oh, I know. Why don't you become her brother then? What? Will you? I will not. Besides, I'm clearly the oldest one here. Why not? I don't think it matters who's older than who. You don't really act all that old anyway. I have at least 10 years on you. Your youngest child insecurity showing. W- Insecurity? You two are pretty good friends, huh? We can discuss the veracity of that claim later. I would like to ask you a favor. What is it? I'll gladly help with anything I can. Could I perhaps borrow a room until the day of the Harvest Festival? I don't have anywhere to stay, or a source of income for that matter. I know it would be taking advantage of your generosity, but I only mean to intrude for a few days. I would be more than happy to offer you a place to stay at any other time. But right now, I can't let you stay here. I'm so sorry. Well, damn. So much for that. Don't let one little no stop you. Keep pushing. Put on a show. Earn her sympathy.
She's a lady of the cloth. If you make her feel bad for you, she'll offer you her aid.
Put on a show? You expect me to act? I'm having another episode. And I was so sure this church would be able to help.
That's not gonna convince anyone.
Quiet, you.
He was perfectly fine on our walk here.
Shut your mouth, boy.
As I said, we did once offer a place of respite for the ailing and needy, but regrettably, for the time being, we are unable to take anyone in. What I can do, though, is give you medicine. Since we can't let people stay here, with the Lord's generous assistance, we've been handing out medicine instead.
So all you do here, then, is give people medication? Bro, don't take it. Don't take it, dude. 'Cause it's gonna be fucking Morgana's blood.
Yes, I suppose that's what it boils down to. I'm honestly not sure why we're not allowed to offer shelter right now, but we are still able to provide assistance to those in need, so I assume it's just a temporary measure and we'll be able to take people in again before long. And with how much he's done for the church, it's not really my place to complain about his decisions. I truly am sorry. I hope you understand. I'm supposed to ask for a tithe in exchange normally, but just this once, it's yours free of charge.
Could you tell me more about this medicine, please?
It's called Saint's Blood, and it'll cure any disease.
Saint's blood?
It's not real blood, of course. That's just what it's called. It sure sounds divine, doesn't it?
No. That's not true.
Huh?
It is real blood.
What do you... sorry to butt in. Do you mind if I bring him back to my room? I don't think I mentioned it, but he's an old friend of mine. We've got a lot of catching up to do. All right.
Hey, come on. This way.
Well, that sure got quite the reaction out of him. And now he's incredibly leery of you.
When she mentioned the blood, I couldn't stop myself. I probably should have kept my mouth shut, though. Oh boy. Mel doesn't say a word the entire way. His smile has retreated, and there's a hint of fear lurking beneath his now stony expression. I spend the trek through the mansion's corridors, pondering how to answer the questions I know are coming. How to solve the problem I put myself in. We enter a bedroom, presumably his, and he closes the door behind us. I can see the distrust in his eyes as he glares at me. I have to ask, who exactly are you?
Why did you say that back there? that saint's blood is actual blood. In response to his pressing, I... Ooh. We don't have much time, but it's in our best interest to tread carefully. There's too much we don't know yet. It would not be wise to make a rash decision. With him as tense and suspicious as he is right now, it won't be easy to get his key or persuade him to tell us how he ended up here. Furthermore, my experiences with the three shades tells me that if I'm not careful, I could be putting myself in unimaginable danger. A brief flash of what might have happened had I spoken too soon crosses my mind, sending a chill down my spine. If I want to get Mel on my side, I'm going to need something more, something decisive. Something that'll convince him he needs to come clean and set Morgana free. Regardless, being cautious isn't going to mean much if I can't get them to let us stay in the mansion. We need to be nearby to keep an eye on things, gather information. How to go about that, though? Assuming he's not voluntarily involved, maybe all we have to do is ask for his help in setting Morgana free, and he'll work with us? Perhaps. Being so direct will only invite more suspicion, but she's probably on the right track. When I met his shadow, it was burdened with great regret. He begged me to help him. My remark about the saint's blood was based on stories I once heard about a person whose blood was said to have healing properties. Stories? Maybe they haven't made it out this far, I don't know. But they tell of a girl born in a distant village, a saint and the daughter of God. I thought that perhaps the nun might be the saint spoken of in the stories, and I was hoping for the opportunity to see a miracle performed with my own eyes. I have to say, you looked more angry than excited. I didn't hide it very well, I guess. Maybe it appeared that way to you, but I've never had a very friendly face. If you say so. As long as you're telling the truth. I myself have to wonder. Why did my remarks seem to bother you so much? What? Is there something more to this saint's blood than you're telling me? No. Something that would make you want to get me alone and interrogate me? There's nothing. I just, you know, didn't want to scare anyone with all the talk of blood, since there's not actually any in it. And I didn't know about the stories, so... It's just medicine, I swear. As you say. It's got nothing to do with the saint in your stories. To change the subject, could I ask you to convince the nun to allow me to stay here? Huh? Weren't you listening? We can't take anyone in right now. Which is why I'm asking for your recommendation. You live on the premises, don't you? I'm more a supervisor of sorts. Then you should have some say in the matter. Why? Until the Harvest Festival is all I'm asking. Why not get a room at an inn? If you need money, I'll spare you some coin. I must stay in this mansion. But why? Those are my instructions. What? You know the stained glass window in the chapel behind the pulpit? I was named after the archangel Michael depicted there. The angel came to me in a vision, instructing me to watch over the festival here. From where you were standing, you couldn't possibly have seen the window in that much detail. Alright, I've only got another like 15 minutes and then I'm gonna have to go. You couldn't. Oh, I get it. You've been to the church before, and you're just acting like you haven't. There's a metal door off to the side, leading to an observation tower. Yeah? You can see the tower from outside. Inside is a long spiral staircase, not made of stone, but wood. There's a single door at the top of the stairs. How? What are you really here for? All that vision stuff is a lie. I am not here to cause you any trouble. In fact, I am on your side. You show up out of nowhere and expect me to believe your nonsense? All I ask is for you to allow me to stay until the day of the festival. If you can do that for me, then I'll make you the promise I could not before. I have not forgotten your pleas for salvation. I know you want to be free. Haha, let me guess. You saw that in a vision too? If you want to call it that, then you can. I've never once asked for you to save me. You're mad. But, fine. I've got nothing to hide anyway. If I say you're a friend, the saintess should be willing to accommodate you. Wait, I already told her you were my friend, didn't I? I'll try and persuade her. I don't know what your deal is, but try not to cause any trouble, okay? For your own sake. I won't. Only until the festival. You're not getting another day out of me or her. And this isn't your home, so don't act like it is. Of course, Thank you. You know, I never did get your name. It's Michel. Ah, right. After the Archangel Michael. Just like you said, haha. I've never really cared much for Michael, to be honest. He weighs your soul in one hand on his perfectly balanced scales, then delivers its punishment with the sword in his other. He's not an angel of salvation. Out of curiosity, could you perhaps be... No, never mind. It's turned into a bit of a storage area, but there's an open room you can use. I'll show you the way. I appreciate your courtesy. Well, this is just lovely. There are cracks in the ceiling and the walls peeling off. There is a bed at least, but it's coated in dust. This was a storeroom when I lived here, as I recall. Sorry about the condition. I didn't choose a bad room for you on purpose, I promise. If you want to sleep somewhere more comfortable, you're not going to find that here. Not a problem. I'm grateful to have a room at all. If you say so. Well, I have work to do, so I should be on my way. I'll talk to the Saintess as promised. I imagine she'll make supper for you at some point. But do keep your crazy talk to yourself around her. I'll make a note of it. Thank you. See you. We made it work. Somehow. Somehow. It's a lot of pressure being under that much suspicion, huh? My heart was pounding the whole time. And that the Archangel Michael came to me in a vision stuff. I never expected you to go there. Why'd you tell him that anyway? Because I didn't think telling him I know the future and I need your help to change it would have gone over very well. Besides, those who yearn for redemption have a tendency to latch on to the spiritual. I thought taking advantage of that would work to our benefit. You know, I'd bet you make a pretty good con artist, Michel. I did what I thought was necessary. I know. Besides, you have every intention of keeping your promise, don't you? Whether or not Mel can be saved is up to him. I will lend my hand, though. Oh, you say it's all on him, but deep down, you know you're on his side. We're complete strangers to this Mel, but I can't bring myself to think of him that way. We just met him today, but it feels like reuniting with an old friend. He's the same old Mel. And you were actually there, a part of his life, which I imagine makes the sentiment all the stronger. You don't feel the same way? don't think of him as a total stranger, no. However, nothing. I was about to say something incredibly cynical, but I caught myself. What? It's nothing. Don't worry about it. If you say so. I was always the one with nothing to offer, powerless to be of anyone's help. So if anything's motivating me, it's not concern for the boy, but a desire to prove that someone like me can do something. It didn't take much arm twisting to get him to give us a room, so who knows? Maybe he'll come over to our side easier than either of us expect. Him giving us a room was not simply out of kindness. Keeping me nearby allows him to keep an eye on me. He doesn't trust me, but he also doesn't know enough about me to decide what to do yet. He needs time, and doing this gives him that time. If he decides keeping me around is not to his advantage, he will act accordingly. Do you really think he'll do anything to hurt you? Mel's a kind boy and, well, to be frank, I don't think he has the spine for it. It's hard to say, but even if he doesn't, we still have the other two men to worry about. Alright, I'm gonna stop here. I need to go. Alright, thanks for joining. And I will be back again tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your night.